How's it going, Aries community? Soul Tigers here with a special story for this wonderful frequency. So let's get started with the vibe and this introduction cards getting dished out. Dear Aries, the only one who can put your inner fire out is you. Others will come and go in your life as tests. Tests for you to see who you really are. Following social norms has never been your thing. Let's honor that quality about you, Aries, because you set the example of what can be achieved when you put your mind, heart, and soul to work. Especially when it comes to wanting to manifest more. Let's face it, Aries, you are a very independent sign. If anybody's gonna get stuff done, Aries, a lot of times it's you. So we have a lot coming out. We have something here in the future that you could be worried about. But there is a lot in your present that is just kind of unfolding and is a mish of many, many things. And remember, from this vibe, it's all a test. And the more we conquer these tests, the more we get closer to our soul being, the more we find clarity when it comes to the inner guidance, when it comes to intuition, and when it comes to communicating with a higher power. So let's start to unfold this. First card out is legal issues. There's someone that is here confused about some things. Could be getting ready to go through some things. Maybe they're upset about something. The fact that you're not following social norms, I feel like you're a very independent sign. You don't have to, create things with others. You are somebody who kind of does it all for yourself, whereas others kind of have to look for that codependency. So this is something that could be really hard for you to deal with. It could be something really hard for you to juggle or even balance when it comes to dealing with these others, especially when they're trying to hook onto you through your emotions, through your over-analyzing mind. But the thing is you keep steadily dodging stuff. You're not, what I'm seeing is lowering your standards, lowering your boundaries to appease others. And people who are of low intentions, low vibrations, that will drive them up the wall. They'll want you to lower your standards, but there's a certain word I'm looking for. It starts with a C, and they say sometimes that could be very, very taking from a person when you have to, I can't remember the word right now, it is escaping me. Not compromise. There we go. I had read in a book, especially when it comes to communication, that compromises could be a really thing that makes you backstep from the progress that you've made, especially when it comes to developing boundaries and standards for yourself. So something here is people are probably upset that you're not compromising and you don't want to meet them at an even level. You're keeping those high standards, and a person who has high standards is looked at always a little bit differently, especially by people who have very low standards, people who don't know how to be community oriented in a positive way. A few other things that you have here is hustling. You're confused on your hustle. Your hustle has been something that is very admirable when it comes to people who see you from the light side of the ego, but it's also something that really disturbs a lot of others who see things from the bad side of the ego. A lot of closed heart chakra. Something else that you're not seeing is giving money. This could be over your success, honestly. And there it is, the wolves in sheep clothing. People who are always out watching what you're doing, almost like encircling you, trying to sit here and pick at you if they can. If they can. And why am I getting at all of this? Because this is something that you're at odds ends with, because there is something within yourself that you haven't developed trust. A very good type of trust to where you understand and you see how you're moving and you trust how you feel about things, opposed to backing off and questioning how you feel about things. And you know what's funny is a few days ago, Aries, I was in the shower and I was analyzing my thoughts that evening, and for some reason there was a harshness of thoughts coming in, and I could see in my vision that there was something black that was floating over me. And the more I fed into the negativity by that overthinking, especially when the emotions are really geared around it in a negative way, I noticed that this black blob kind of thing would start to grow as I was in the shower. So one thing I started to do was go within, reassess. And then I started to do something that I'm learning to work into routine with myself. And that has to do with validation. That has to do with filling out my emotions opposed to denying them. And that really goes into, what are my intentions? How do I operate? And going from there, because people will make you feel a type of way, especially if they're in a low frequency and you're in a higher frequency and they're targeting you. And I feel like this is something that's happening. You probably have somebody here who's really wishing a lot of bad on you. And what they don't know at the end of the day is, if they are doing some kind of divination stuff, they don't realize how they're linking their energy to whatever it is that they're asking from the ether, so to say, for help. What it is they are taking their focus. And they are depleting their focus through negativity that they're trying to throw your way. But what they don't understand is you're mirroring something that they're really insecure about. So they're depleting their energy. They're blaming you. And this is something that's driving them crazy. What I always say a lot of times, especially when it comes to wolves in sheep's clothing, especially people who are upset about your success, is to pray about it. Pray about it, pray about it, pray about it, because guess what? The more that their behaviors escalate, the more that they keep going into these routines, the more that they're going to be their undoers, because they get comfortable with these routines and they get comfortable with pushing more and more and more and more until something has to be done about it universally. Dharma will always step in, and you always got karma right there. And the whole thing is, with them always trying to blame you for their problems, using you as a scapegoat for whatever fucking reason, excuse my words, is the reason why they're having a hard time in their lives. Because they're not searching to how to better themselves. They're not searching how to heal themselves. They're trying to fill their voids with hatred, with animosity, with resentment, with vengefulness, with vindictiveness towards you. Oh my goodness gracious, because every day you hustling. What I'm here is to say, fuck them. Fuck them. Don't let them damper your day, because that's something that they're trying to do. Whether they're making moves at night, making moves during the day, is they want you to share in their misery. It probably gets them really upset when you show up every day happy, every day ready to go, every day striving for the best, because somewhere along the lines, they don't believe in that for themselves. They don't believe that they deserve the best. They don't believe that they deserve waking up happy. They don't believe that they have a blessed life. Now, there's nothing that you can control about that. And you know what's funny? What is a little funny, especially if I'm speaking to some more feminine type of energy here right now, is I love to listen about different history. And it's been through the ages of time that a lot of independent women are always persecuted, from even way back in the day, from the Pilgrims' day to even the medieval days. If you were an independent woman, you were always looked at a little differently, whether you were a witch, whether there was something wrong with you, whether this or that, because guess what? You don't need anybody. And people don't understand that. People who don't live within their truth don't understand when the truth is there, when somebody is operating through their truth. It actually scares them. It really does. And it makes them draw back, but it also makes them want to point the finger as you being the problem in their life. Oh my goodness. So, you know what? Guess what? Like I said, in the vibe that I was picking up, you are just the mere example of what anybody and everyone can achieve when it comes to healing, when it comes to inner happiness, when it comes to living within the truth. Now, you're going to bother some people's demons along the way, and that's just the way it goes. What I always like to do is, like I say, when you go through these tough situations, I'm not a perfect person. There's times where I get sick and tired of being sick and tired of putting up with dumbasses bullshit, and I will say something. I will call somebody out. And you know what? That's me honoring how I feel. And at the same time, I use discernment. Is this the time to call something out? Do I need something to change? Or is this the time to move through grace? Having grace with these people because they're stuck at where they're at, and their problems are not my problems, even though they tried to make them my problems. Because guess what? Don't be confused. Don't hide from it, because it ain't shit. It's a mere copy of what they try and do, how the energy they try and bring in every day. These people can't sit there and venture out doing something on their own. They have to keep copying. They have to keep mimicking. They have to keep doing something to try and poke at you. Ooh-wee! Have you set some people's asses on fire because you are a go-getter? And maybe that's the lesson here for you, Aries, is to stop worrying about the opinions of the crowd and to start worrying, start encompassing how you feel a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing, for you to pick up your head from being upset, feeling shame because you have low frequencies around you who can't seem to meet you at your level. Instead, be proud that probably at one time you were at that level and you've transcended through the different phases to a higher belief, to a higher understanding, to a higher use of discernment when it comes to certain foes in your life. Oh my goodness gracious. It always upsets people when you don't abide by the social norms. It really, really does. And people will target you because you don't abide by the social norms. And they're the ones who want to abide by the social norms. That's on them. Let the sheep be sheep. You keep doing you. So let's continue for the present. What else needs to come out for the present? Ooh, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm hearing, yeah, it's a lot of ill will, ill words, ill focus, ill backhand, backdoor kind of intentions. What they're trying to do is they're trying to open different doors to your fears, to your anxieties by targeting you in different ways to basically make you feel like you could be the root out of the problem. You could be the one who's wrong. You could be the one who doesn't fit in type of thing. That's what I'm getting there. And something we're at the furthest distance with here is the Page of Wands. that whoever this isn't representing you. I feel like this represents whoever these people are. They're irrational, or they want you to be irrational. They want you to have quick reactions because they're trying to trip you up. Somebody wants to trip you up. The biggest thing is they want to get you stuck. They want to get you stuck. Maybe this could be family. Maybe these could be coworkers. Maybe it could be neighbors. Maybe it could be acquaintances in the communities that you frequent. But whoever it is, they've definitely took time to try and study you. They definitely have. But that time that they've took trying to study you, trying to build up things that could target you, has actually been hurting them a lot. Whatever this investment is, but the investment is towards how you hustle. The name of the game is to throw you off of your game. That's what I'm seeing. But you are handling it, even though you could be confused about things. You're really trying to remain balanced when it comes to it, and how you harness your strength with things that are out of your control. Wow, great job. Great job. You're doing the best not to stay stuck in your mind, especially when it comes to the moves that they're trying to make towards you. Again, we have a couple of pages here. These could be people who are younger than you, or these are people of younger mentality types, younger maturity. This could be somebody who is older than you, but they act like a freaking child. They say here they can't hold accountability for things. And the whole thing is, these people haven't ventured off to face their own fears. A lot of times when you have people like that, it's easier to find a scapegoat and to blame that scapegoat. And what it is they're trying to say that you could be over controlling. They could be trying to say that you're doing too much. They could be trying to say that you're very greedy about things, trying to have things your way. That's very interesting. It's a lot of scapegoat here. I can't remember who else it was. I think this was last month's story for somebody else. They were being made the scapegoat as well. And this is something that's really here for you, because what it is you still have your energy tied to these type of situations that you've been in with others. Even though you're doing a better job of balancing things out, you're still weighing too heavily in on these people's opinions. One thing that I was seeing a lot with, I think it's on this one, was the Hermit here for your block is in reverse. So that tells me that you've been taking into consideration people's opinions too much, and that could be something that could be very taking from you, especially if the opinions are coming from people who have not met themselves in their own truths. These are coming from people who are vindictive. These are coming from people who hold a lot of resentment. These are coming from people who have a very closed heart chakra. And the reason why I say that is because a closed heart chakra is jealousy, it's bitterness, it's holding grudges, and it's a lack of empathy. Think about the people around you in these situations and how they want you to have the empathy for them, but they do not need to have empathy for you. What kind of bullshit is that? That's not meeting a person at an even level. That's not even looking at a person as if they are equal to you. That is you putting you yourself, which is them, up on a pedestal, saying that everyone else should bow down to your will and how you feel things should be. In any type of community type of setting, whether it's relationships, work, neighbors, stuff like that, it's a give and take situation and learning how to work with each other. And there's something here where they're not wanting to work with you, but instead blame you. Oh my goodness. And so with this full moon that happened earlier this month on the 1st in Scorpio, the flower moon, The whole thing is for your first house, you're going to have an emergence of a new awareness once you shed the old ways of doing things. And that's over analyzing in the mind and being really hard in the emotions about things, especially when you have these situations hooking into you. When you can start to see how you hustle, when you can start to read people for who they are, when you can start to gain more clarity, especially in what you're feeling come in towards you, this is when you're going to shed an old way of dealing with things, an old way of thinking of things, and then emerge into a newer version of yourself in how you move, how you treat yourself, but how you analyze when people bring in a lot of folly your way. And with the new moon in Taurus on the 16th of this month, that's second house energy. So you're going from step 1 to step 2, and that's a lot of identification with substance. And that could be wanting to find your identification even in some type of community setting, how you identify with the community around you and the things that are brought to you, or even the things that you bring in. Now that's really hard when you have a lot of people being jealous of what you're doing because you're so independent. But how can you see that and flip it and see it from the optimistic side of being proud of what you're doing, even though you have people side-eyeing you? Well, that's being able not to give two shits about something that doesn't even matter. I was watching a video with a gentleman, and one guy was carrying a sign saying just stop it, and he was just walking around letting people talk to him, and he was talking to one guy, and the guy had given him advice and stop caring about things that don't matter. And what this guy meant was, when you care about things that don't matter, you'll drive yourself crazy. Do these people's opinions, do how they try and treat you, how they try and point the finger at you, does that really matter at the core? Does it really matter at the end of the day? Does it pay your bills? Does it help you grow? Does it help you want to become more successful? If it's all doing the opposite, then it shouldn't matter, because those are things that are going to take from you if it's doing the opposite. What should matter are the things that feed you, the things that help you, the things that help propel you, even if it's tough lessons. So maybe this is something else that we need to learn how to balance out, is being able to know when and what to care for versus when to just let it go. And what I'm hearing to say is let bygones be bygones, and you move with your new days, you move with yourself, and you keep on hustling and bringing things to blossom for you. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, so let's keep on moving. Let's ask our angels of protection. Please help, guide, and protect us as we navigate the block. There's a lot of weird things that are going. There's a lot of weird tricks that are happening. There's more than one person involved in all of this. So just be mindful of that. Well, everything's going to crumble in the end if you keep going. Because like I said, people get really comfortable with their behaviors, and it will catch them up. I can give you an example. I've had a neighbor before who would do things on purpose to mess with me, but this same neighbor went and told lies about me and tried to give the reputation that I like to abuse elders. Why? Because I seen who this person was. They're not a very good person at the core, and they like to use people. I even used to buy this person food at one time to be nice, because they would play this big victim card. And once I see that they were trying to overstep my boundaries, like somebody who is a groomer, like somebody who is a predator, because groomers and predators will always test your boundaries. They'll keep inching towards your boundary, and then they'll push it back a little more and a little more every time. And when I seen this, I put an end to it. I let them know that I don't want to deal with this. I'm okay. I'm not interested, whatever it was. And ever since I did that, that upset them, that I'm not giving them attention. I'm not giving them any of my resources. And so that's when they became vindictive. They're so vindictive again that they were spreading lies in my community. And the only reason why I found this out is because the behavior was escalating so much that this person felt like they had the entitlement, because again, it was let to escalate to where they thought they could run at me and start cussing at me and threatening me, and even openly stalking me. Oh yeah, they had been stalking me before that, but because again, they were allowed to act like that, they were able to escalate their behavior to where they felt comfortable doing that last bit towards me. Now, I was smart, and I knew what was happening. I could sense the energies. And I knew that once this person was running at me, even though I felt threatened, even my son seen this happening and he felt threatened for me and told me I should have pepper sprayed him. If I had pepper spray, or if I had a taser, I should have tased him, because of the threatening manner that he was trying to show when he was running at me. And I didn't react. Or I did react actually, but I didn't react in a threatening manner. What I did was what they tell women to do. If you're in danger, you need to be loud and you need to get attention. And that's what I did, is I extended my voice and I told that person to leave me alone very, very loudly, which stopped them in their tracks, because where I live, it echoes and people are up. And as soon as I extended my voice out to where the neighborhood could hear me, they stopped in their tracks. And of course, I let them know how I felt as I was backing away, going away from them, getting away from them, letting them know that you will not sit here and mess with me. You need to leave me alone. You need to leave my family alone. And you know what's funny is this person labeled me the aggressor, even though in that moment they were being aggressive to me and I backed away. I knew if I would have reacted any other way, they would have took that, because again, this person's making me the scapegoat to their freaking problems, and they would have took that and they would have messed with my living situation when it comes to management. They would have called the police or the sheriff on me and stuff like that. This is why you have to be careful when you're dealing with people in low frequencies. And again, this person let their behavior escalate so much that finally it's shown to the world. And a little bit more, I had somebody later on that day come chew my ass out. And this was another neighbor who had been talking to this other one who ran at me, and they came and they were under the presumption that I was harassing this other neighbor, even though this other neighbor was the aggressor. And when they went back and they reviewed the video footage, they came back to me the next day apologizing because they seen what was going on. And they confirmed that that neighbor was messing with me on purpose, because that neighbor would tell them things that they were doing to me on purpose. And so this person was very nice. They contacted management. They gave management the video. They contacted the owner, which helped de-escalate that situation, because now it was being known what was happening, because management wouldn't believe me. The owner wasn't doing anything. So even though it's hard to give people grace so they can keep acting up, whatever, like I said, whatever they're doing, whatever they're focusing on is messing with them mentally in a very negative way. And they keep doing it, they're going to start destroying stuff for them, messing with you. And sometimes, and this is what I've had to do in other places, is you got to let them dig their hole. You have to let them dig their hole. You keep setting that example, but you let them dig their hole, because you don't need to be down there helping them and digging your hole at the same time, because then you're meeting them at that even level. But let's continue with this right here. Your strength is the biggest target. Your strength also is something that can be, what I'm hearing to say is, decapitated by your mental side, by the over analyzing, trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. Maybe as you're trying to find the blame, where to place the blame type of thing. And that could be very hard, especially when it comes to the different relationships around you, when you're especially trying to relate to those things, even though those things are of dark energy. Call it for what it is. That's what I'm hearing to say. Here comes this Queen of Pentacles again. Call it for what it is, for what you see that it is, and let's let it be like that. Because staying in limbo with trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt at times is the very thing that has you hung up. And what did I tell you? There's that Hermit again. It's too much of what we were taught was once upon a time ago, is that we need to treat others how we want others to treat us. Well, a lot of times these others aren't treating us very well. And with that kind of thing, we end up putting ourselves on the back burner and always worrying about others' opinions more than what our inner guidance is telling us. And I think that's something that's really here, especially when it comes to the different people, places that we are aligned with. Something here is we got to look at things from another type of view. We have the one optimism on the dark side where we just kind of feel how everything's wrong. We know it's wrong, but then there is the light view. What are the lessons that we can learn here? One lesson is actually being able to trust in yourself to conquer the conflicts, or even know when to walk away from certain conflicts that ain't shit. That are not shit, that are not worth your time, energy, and stuff like that. The whole thing is sometimes people will target your success. They will target your success because they don't have those passions that drive them. The whole thing is they want to undo all the work that you've done, especially when it comes to creating a very copacetic, harmonious environment for yourself. And maybe that's the biggest thing that you need to see with yourself too, is how progressive you've been, especially when it comes to the emotional side of things. You may be focused in on everything that you're doing, but you still have the clarity of forgiveness. You still have the clarity of wanting to keep things emotionally balanced. You still have the clarity of wanting to have the harmony encompassed by love and compassion. Like I say, you may wake up every day with a new day ready to start, and others are not waking up like that. They're waking up with closed heart chakra. They're waking up not wanting to forgive. They're waking up wanting to blame others for their problems, even though they're the biggest problem in their life. That's not your problem. I'm hearing to say that is not your problem. Let people stay where they want to be at. You continue doing you. You continue waking up happy. You continue having your blessed days. No matter what they're trying to do to you behind closed doors, or the passive aggressive stuff, or the straightforward stuff. Let them do them, because what ends up happening a lot of times with these type of personalities, they're destroyers. And these type of people will destroy a lot of different things in their life. They'll destroy their property. They'll destroy their relationships with others. They'll destroy their work stuff. And that is on them to learn from. You don't have to save anything. You don't have to be extra for anyone to try and get them to see you from a different light, because at the end of the day, the problem isn't with you. The problem's with themselves. But again, they don't want to learn. It's easier to find a scapegoat, and it's easier to blame somebody else. It's just the way that cookie's gonna crumble for them. The great thing is, Aries, is that you can see you are not of that frequency. Sometimes it's hard to feel like the oddball out sometimes, but I like to tell people, look at how much growth you have spiritually compared to the situation that you're in. You could be at that level if you really want to start to tear yourself down You could be at that level, but you worked hard to get out of that kind of mindset, out of that heart set, out of that emotional set, out of that even physical set. So that is something to be very, very, very happy about. I'm being told I need to show you this. This is them. This is them and what they battle in their minds. There's nothing you can do about that. Because a lot of times you've had these same battles, but you choose to head towards the fears opposed to backing away from them, opposed to cowarding, opposed to feeling like you can't handle them. You handle things, and that is okay. That's something to, what I'm hearing to say is to pat yourself on the back about. And don't forget, Aries, you are root chakra, but also Archangel Michael represents you. And you know what? Today is Tuesday, and this is your day. Honestly, Tuesdays are very good days for Aries. And if we know anything about Archangel Michael, is he doesn't back down, especially when it comes to corruption, when it comes to evil. There's no backing down. There's taking care of business to keep that divinity, where it's meant to be. All right, so let's call in divine and universal energy. What are the positive messages that you have here for Aries? Ooh, usually they don't fall out like that. Alright, let's go. Oh, and here we go. I keep hearing one more. What's the last one? Is there a last one? What's that last one? One more. What's that last one? There we are. Oh, thank you. Give praise. Hallelujah. Give praise. Because guess who's on the scene? Guess who is on the scene to confirm stuff right here? Archangel Michael. Don't be at odds ends with this archangel. Don't be at odds ends with the archangel energy that you have within you. Because remember, we all have a seed of divinity, just like them. Don't be afraid to sit here and conquer your challenges, especially the challenges that others bring out within you. Don't be afraid to have the conviction in what you believe and how you go about your day in love, light, and compassion. How you go about your day through your intentions from the inner light or outer light, or the light of around you that you try and find in every space, in everyone. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. That could be very intimidating for others as well. Just know that. So let's go into this past here. Hostilities. Hostilities have always came. People, places, whatever. They always came. They always right here trying to break your heart. Trying to break your passions. That is the test. That's always been the test for you, Aries. Is there ill will? Is there insecurities more powerful than your belief? That is something that you have to really start to grow within yourself when it comes to understanding yourself. Is there ill will stronger than your beliefs? That's the thing. We have walking away and sun right here. Like I said, know when to invest, know when to walk away, know when to follow where you're meant to be. I know we get stuck in with people, places, and or things that, seem to be a great match at first, things that we were very grateful at first, and then it becomes something a little weird, a little awkward, a little gross, a little just not the best. And that's how you can gauge what I'm hearing to say is your growth, actually. Because when you start to look around and things that you once fit in don't fit you anymore. It's because you're growing. Remember when you were a child, you couldn't stay in the same pairs of shoes for even a whole year because you outgrew stuff. And that's okay to outgrow certain types of behaviors that are thrown your way, to outgrow focusing on it. That's what I'm hearing to say. So another few cards here you're at odds ends with is the door to personal happiness and growth. And what did we just talk about? Within the different people and places that we frequent. Something to always keep in mind is having a progressive heart when it comes to those situations. Instead of letting them get stuck, or letting your heart get stuck, letting you get stuck on that frequency of what they're trying to give you, still stay progressive with it through love. Especially love for yourself, love for the others who are bringing these lessons towards you. How am I supposed to have love for people who wish ill upon me? It's not that you're supposed to, but when you hang out with resentment towards them, then you're taking from you. Should you deplete yourself over others who want you to be depleted? No, these others come in at you again as tests to see if you can balance these energies, if you can balance the dark with the light, if you're able to move between with confidence, with love, with gratitude, with compassion, with respect, especially for yourself. Oh my goodness gracious. Our last part here, you're at odds ends and you don't see it. These situations right here that come about, that put you in places that you once fit in and then you outgrow, help you open the door to other things. Could be to your personal value. Seeing how you value yourself, but also seeing that, hey, that's okay to outgrow this. It's okay to go towards more abundant type of things. Because guess what? I'm not meant to be stuck here. Not in this mindset, not in this emotional type of assault that is trying to happen, not in this type of spiritual depleting type of energy, not in this can't move, won't move my body because they don't want me to type of thing. No. The over-analytical mind can be great when we flex it in ways that help us grow. How can you take your analytical mind that you overanalyze situations and start to analyze where you want your focus to be? What are the things that you can focus on that will help you open this door for you? Oh my goodness, just remember, it will always encompass your heart. Your heart being open, especially when it comes to foundations that are trying to rob you of the very passions, of the very success that you've been working on, because they're upset. They're upset at what you do. And they like to wear disguises. They're not here to celebrate with you. Why? Because again, they're hooked on a closed heart chakra type of energy, and that encompasses blaming others. But guess what? It ain't shit. It's a mere copy of things that you've dealt with before, especially when it comes to negative communities. We're going to take this strength, especially when it comes to erratical behavior from others, and we're going to have an open heart to ourselves, and we're going to figure out what is it that they're poking at when it comes to the fears, and we're going to learn how to go in a different direction, especially when it comes to us healing, when we are outgrowing certain environments, bringing balance to us, for us. Oh my goodness gracious. Such a beautiful story, Aries. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your patience. And don't forget to thank your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, as well as divine and universal energy for coming on in and helping out. And as always, I hope that you have a most wonderful rest of your day.